for a missing angle. Some of the angles that we had was complementary, and those angles will always add up to 90 degrees total. Supplementary will always add up to 180 degrees total. And vertical angles are always equal to each other, so it really just depends. For example, if this was a 20-degree angle, the one across from it will always be 20 degrees as well. And then you also have adjacent, and this one is a little bit different. There's not a set number that it's equal to. It really just depends on what the total. So if this was 130 degrees total, if this was a 70-degree angle, this would have to be 60 degrees, adding total to 130. On the front side of this paper, we're basically going to go through some two-step equations together. Remember that the first step to solve two-step equations is always going to be to combine like terms. And when you have like terms, there's two things that you must remember. The first one is that they have to have the same variable. And the second thing you need to remember is to take the sign in front of the number. For instance, you can combine 2x and 3x together to make 5x, because they both have an x. However, you could not combine 2x with a 3y, because they are different variables. One has an x, one has a y. It's also very important to pay attention to the sign in front of it. If this 2 was negative, you would not have 5x anymore. 2 plus 3 is 5, but negative 2 plus a positive 3 is only a positive 1. Please try to keep these things in mind as we go through. Your objective today is to basically use combining like terms to solve these equations, and they are going to be two steps. Most of these are going to be combining like terms, and then from there it really just depends on the problem. So for example, the first one we can combine the 6a and the 2a because they both have the same variable. But you must remember that this 2 is a negative. So 6 plus a negative 2 is really 4a. You will still solve the equations just like we did before, using inverse operations. So because this represents multiplication, to undo this, you would have to divide by 4. So negative 48 divided by 4 gives us a negative 12. And that's how you would solve the first one. For the second one, it looks a little bit different because we not only have r's on this side, but then we also have in positive 8. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line so we can keep things separate. The first thing is to always combine like terms first. So 2r and a negative 1r, remember the 1 is invisible, really makes a positive 1r. There's nothing we can really do with the 8 right now, so we can just go ahead and bring it down. Keep in mind to take whatever sign this is in front of it. So plus 8 and equals negative 7. When we solve a two-step equation, we always move the 1 that's not attached to the variable first. So we cannot move the 1, but we'll move the 8 instead. Instead of adding 8, the opposite is to subtract 8. Remember, those make it cancel. But if you do minus 8 on one side, you must do that to the other as well. The 1r has not been used, so bring it down. And this is where you must be careful. If you have your calculator, you need to make sure you put in negative 7. And remember, we are subtracting 8. So negative 7 minus 8 is going to give us negative 15. And because this is now a two-step, you have to look at the last operation. The opposite of multiplication, which is represented here, is division. Those again cancel, and you're left with R equals negative 50. This one is a lot like the other one that we just talked about. Again, please make sure that you're careful when you combine like terms of if there's a negative. So you have a positive 3/8 plus a negative 5/8, which gives you negative 2/8. Again, go ahead and bring down everything you haven't used. So you're plus 11, and it's still equal to 17. Again, just as mentioned earlier, we do not want to move the one that is attached to the variable first. So we're going to start with the 11. The inverse operation of addition is to subtract 11. Again, those get to cancel. Bring down everything you have not used. Keep in mind to take the sign with it. And 17 minus 11 leaves us with 6. We still have not gotten h by itself yet. Remember, this is not subtracting 2h. This is negative 2 times h. So the opposite of multiplying by a negative 2 is dividing by a negative 2. Those will cancel. And again, you must do the same thing on the other side. So h equals 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. We'll look at number 8 and 10 together. Number 8 is also the same thing. Remember, if there is not a number, it is an invisible one. 1x plus negative 9x is negative 8x. Bring down the number that you have not used, which is plus 24, equals, and again this is negative 8, so make sure you bring that down. Starting with the one that's not attached to the variable first, you use your inverse operation, so minus 24 from both sides. These will cancel. Again, bring down what you have not used, so negative 8x equals negative 32. Again, this is not subtracting 8x. This is negative 8 times x equals negative 32. The opposite of multiplying by negative 8 is dividing by negative 8. They cancel. And negative 32 divided by negative 8 is a positive 4. So x equals 4. The last one is just a little bit different because it involves a decimal, but it's still solved the exact same way. I'm going to go ahead and draw our line. Let's start with combining our like terms. You have 2x plus negative 5x, which gives me negative 3x. Bring down everything you have not used, so plus 6.3, and it's negative 14.4. At this point, you might want to grab a calculator, and if you don't have that, remember you can always use one on the internet and search for it. So we have, instead of adding 6.3, we want to subtract 6.3 from both sides. These will cancel, but you still have this over here. So you have negative 14.4, and then we're going to subtract 6.3, which leaves us with an answer of negative 20.7. I'm going to leave what I have up here, which is negative 3x. Same as before, this is not subtracting 3x, but multiplying by negative 3. So the opposite would be to divide by negative 3. Again, you might want to use your calculator at this point. So I have negative 20.7. And I'm going to divide that not by just 3, but negative 3 to give me 6.9 as my answer. If you are doing this online, you will need to go to the Google form where you will fill out the rest of this worksheet. You will have the ones that we did not do together. If you have a paper copy, you will be doing the paper copy. Thank you.